The federal government of Nigeria under the current leadership got a boost to the Marine and Blue Economy Initiative as the EDIB International Limited of Hong Kong has expressed its willingness to provide finance for the development of the $27.29 billion Escravos Seaport Industrial Complex project. The project, located in Escravos, Warri Southwest local government area of Delta State, is a development project to be implemented through a joint venture partnership with the Nigerian firm Mercury Maritime Concession Company Limited. EDIB International Limited, the project investor, is requesting that the federal government of Nigeria and the local government provides written confirmation of the free trade zone in the country to provide security and confirmation of the project to be financed by EDIB International Limited. The security sought after is as a result of the 50 years concession deal to build, own, operate and transfer the ESIC Deep Seaport project. On the part of the federal government of Nigeria, they will ensure that the financier's $27.29 billion investment is returned with profit. The concession deal term is to be increased to 99 years for the ESIC project to secure funding from EDIB International Limited. It is instructive to note that under the ESIC project deal, the ownership of the ESIC Deep Seaport sub-project of ESIC will revert to FGN at the expiration of the 99 years concession period to be granted to MMCC. The decision by the investor EDIB International to finance the project is consequent upon the November 2020 provisional approval granted by the Federal Ministry of Transportation to MMCC to develop the ESIC project and the reviewed confirmation letter of August 2023 by the ministry. The decision was also consequent upon the May 2022 Delta State DTSG approval to lease 31,000 hectares of land located at Escravos to the company to host the entire project. The project commenced in 2019 and aims to develop 31,000 hectares of project land in Delta State into a deep seaport, crude oil refinery, gas complex, free trade zone, industrial park, independent power plant, airport, nature conservation park, and a whole lot. It is a development that promises to massively open up the 7 beneficiary states in Nigeria to foreign direct investments in the areas of trade, commerce, and industry. The project will transform the economies of these states from the rural-driven economy with sprinkling of urban development to a metropolis-driven economy of international dimension. The Escravos Infrastructure Deep Seaport project will serve as a gateway seaport with multimodal transportation connectivity to the hinterland destinations in Nigeria and beyond by marine, rail, and road means of transportation, thus providing cargo flow multiplier to the proposed deep seaport to effectively serve more than 7 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Also, as a gateway deep seaport infrastructural project, the deep seaport will be able to service all inland ports along the River Niger when the River Niger Canal project in partnership with the Suez Canal Authority of Egypt comes on stream. This canal/international marine highway project is a 600 kilometers seaport to Barrow in Niger State, a project which will open up the canal to a depth of about 10 meters to enable it to take vessels up to 100,000 metric tons. Recall that the development of this seaport spans way back, especially in 2021 when Mercury Maritime Concession Company performed plans to design and develop a $2.9 billion proposed Escravos Seaport Industrial Complex in partnership with the Port of Antwerp International as part of effort to develop local capacity in the nation's maritime sector. However, the project stalled at the time and nothing was heard about it. The planned Escravos Seaport at the time was projected to include the building of Escravos Deep Seaport, crude oil refinery and gas complex, international airport, industrial estate and free trade zones. It was at the time to be funded by a United Nations affiliate group based in Switzerland. It was also a public-private partnership-driven project entered into by the federal government of Nigeria, Delta State government and the MMCC with some other technical partners. At the time, it was projected that the project would be developed in partnership with the Port of Antwerp International, as earlier stated, as the marine infrastructure developer, while the land infrastructure component of the project was to be handled by James Kubik Architects, an expatriate company. According to the planners at the time, the first phase of the port project was expected to open up the water channels along Escravos to Pantami to Onitsha, while phase 2 of the channelization would be from Onitsha to Lokoja, Baro and Onitsha, and Lokoja to Makurdi. It was also noted that the port project consisted of the Escravos Deep Seaport Free Trade Zone in three major layouts: oil and gas free trade zone, industrial layout to serve as for domestic purpose, independent power plants, golf course, development of prime infrastructure, new towns and cities, and international airports, some of which I had earlier stated. According to the planners, the seaport is actually primarily designed to serve ESIC-1 and also Nigeria's regular international seaborne trade, thus increasing the contribution of Delta Port to Nigeria's economic development as well as boosting contributions of Delta State Seaport to Nigeria's international seaborne trade by 3%. The ESIC-1 at large grants Delta State direct multimodal transport accessibility to 70% of the Nigerian landmarks, 4 geopolitical zones, including Abuja and the littoral nations of the world. And according to the planners, the Escravos Deep Seaport project will be a game changer to the Nigerian economy. It can be quite understood that Apapa and Tinkan ports in Lagos account for over 70% of imports on average. Also, the Nigerian Port Authority data shows that Onne Port handled about 80% of Nigeria's export cargo. But this is because the Onne Port is located in an oil and gas free zone and most of Nigeria's exports are oil and gas products. Therefore, the dispersion of imports across ports paints a fairer picture of the performance of each one. A quick visit to the Port Harcourt port will reveal a surprising level of inactivity. A few people are milling about, but most of them are security personnel. To be candid, the number of ships docking at the port had decreased over the years. In the past, ships waited for days for space to dock, but now there are days when no vessels dock at all. It is not immediately clear what has happened to most ports in South Nigeria. Some have blamed the poor functionality of the ports in the South region of Nigeria on insecurity as militancy and piracy increase the cost and risk associated with transporting goods through these areas. This view is sometimes pushed by the federal government, and it has some merit. At the height of a militant uprising driven by frustration at perceived exploitation by the government and international oil companies, kidnapping expatriates was a popular and lucrative activity in the South region of Nigeria, which has affected the berthing of ships in that region. This, however, has discouraged a lot of foreign investments in the South region of Nigeria and has actually discouraged shipping activities in the region, which has led to the shutting down of major deep sea ports in the region, which includes the Warri Deep Sea Port, Port Harcourt Onne Deep Sea Port, the Calabar Deep Sea Port, and a host of others. However, with the way the government is paying attention to the South region seaport nowadays, it is very important to note that commercial activities in most seaports located in South Nigeria will come alive. Guys, do well to drop your honest comments in the comment section. Tell us what you think about this port project. Don't forget to subscribe as usual. Make sure you like, share, and invite your friends to the channel so our videos can go viral. Thank you.